Hey there, kids. It's Mr. Zero of Mr. Zero's Terror Ride. How you doing? I am, of course, Mr. Zero, clown, comic weirdo, guy with a microphone and a webcam thingy dingy, and a candle that smells like cotton candy, and a beverage holder that says "Same old circus, different clowns." This is the same old clowns in the same old playroom of doom. The doom room, the room of doom. Something like that. So guess what happened today, folks? I wasted some more money on one of these. Ever seen one? It's kind of scary. Be ready. Be ready. Ooh! This is called Vexy the Naughty. Hello. I don't even know. She sounds like Christina Ricci in the movie, but I haven't seen the movie. We will probably go see it in theaters. But I had seen pictures of like this in the commercials of a goth punk looking Smurf thingy. And I told my wife, I says, the minute they have a plush one of those, I must get one. And the reason why, it's pretty much the same reason. The woman at the Build-A-Bear, this is from Build-A-Bear, by the way, Build-A-Bear Workshop. The reason she came up with like her guess on it, she's like, "Oh, so are you a big fan of Smurfs?" I'm like, "Well, I watched the Smurfs when I was a kid. Watched the Christmas episode with goodness makes the badness go away. Goodness makes you happy every day. Badness cannot start if there's goodness in your heart. Goodness makes the badness go away." Um, so I'm familiar with the Smurfs, but I'm not. I wouldn't say like I'm a huge fan. I wasn't like I watched it quite. I remember watching it quite a bit as a child before kindergarten and growing up. It was on during the day, and I used to watch it. But the reason why I got Vexy here, of course, is because she's a mischievous little punk goth chick. And she's got waffle stompers, dude. And she's got a little skirt thingy. And she's got a blue streak in her hair. Like, perfect. She's short. She's got a blue streak in her hair. She's punk goth. She's a troublemaker. My kind of girl. So yeah, one thing that's kind of irritating is there's two of the naughties in the movie. There's Hackus and there's Vexy. And when you go to Build-A-Bear and you get Hackus, he's just comes in like he's got no shirt on, he's wearing leggings, he's got his hat on. $23, boom. That's what he wears in the movie. To get Vexy, she costs $23, and all she's wearing, it looks like she's wearing a gray tank top with black leggings. And that's her deal. Then you fill her up and you want her to look like the one from the movie. So then you sit there and you gotta buy the shirt and dress, which come in a combo, which is about $14, $10 for the shoes, and then so 23. You're practically paying like 40 something for it. Which online it costs like 45 for the full getup, I think, from Build-A-Bear. But now I got me a punk goth Smurf girlfriend. The heck is a Smurf anyway? I should look this up a little bit closer. I know it's a creation by Peyo, Belgian. It was Belgian, so I do know that. I don't know a lot about the Smurfs or the history. Not like Donnie Darko does. He knows all about the Smurfs, but I don't. So, at any rate, on a side note, talking about the Smurfs in the new Smurf movie, as in the last Smurf movie, the voice of Papa Smurf was Jonathan Winters. Jonathan Winters, this is his last movie as the Smurfs 2, as he died in April. And I don't think I did anything to commemorate that, but I remember thinking, oh, Jonathan Winters died, I should talk about that. You check him out on Wikipedia, and there's all sorts of info and cool things about him. And the guy was on. The guy was on. Always this improvisational comic who said that he wanted to prove you could be funny without just telling straight up jokes. So in a way, he's kind of the pioneer, the godfather of alternative comedy. This idea of just being funny by being funny will not like sitting there like a man walks into a bar type kind of humor. Um, which has actually been in practice for a long time, but alternative comedy, the basic idea is that it's not about just um, joke and punchline type humor. It could be telling a story, it could be physical, it could be all sorts of things that, stand-up comedy at the time was just guy who stands up in front of a room and tells a whole bunch of jokes. Um, like if you've ever seen Neil Hamburger, he does a parody of that kind of humor while holding like 3 or 4 glasses that he's constantly drinking and spitting into. Really gross to watch. But Jonathan Winters was a huge inspirational improv comic. He could like improv and come up with really funny ideas. Just boom, brilliant mind, brilliant mind. And on there that has a list of all the comics he's influenced. There's basically every comedian that's ever made it big. He was an influence to. But one name that didn't stick out on that list of comedians, me. And I guess I can call myself a comedian because I have performed on stage at a comedy venue. I've done it. I'm not a professional comedian. I've probably made, as a clown, as in my clowning work, I've probably made over $100 maybe. If I count doing some of the sign holding work, then I've made some money too. I've made a little bit as a clown. If I count the sign holding, and yeah, I'll count it. Yeah, I'm out there. I'm performing. Actually, it's more of like I do this kind of yeah. Whatever. Sometimes I'll do some mime work, but I haven't lately because I've been very under the weather. But maybe I'll introduce that back in. Goof around with people a little bit more. Now that my cough's gone, which is great. I didn't even have to see a doctor this time. But at any rate, so a comedian that was influenced heavily by Jonathan Winters in the worst possible way. I think it was when I was in 3rd grade. My school every year, the last day of school, and my elementary school last day was spent watching a talent show. It went on. We got to school. We saw the talent show, and it would go on till about noonish, and then we go to report cards and then go home, and that was the last day of school. Every year, from kindergarten through 6th grade, that was the ending. The last day of school was like that. Second to last day was a trip to the zoo. Last day of school, we were at doing a talent show. But to prepare for that talent show, to pick the people that were going to be in that talent show, every grade would have their own talent show, and that's how they would pick like who would represent their grades for the school. And in 3rd grade, in front of all the other 3rd grade classes, all the other students, I performed stand-up comedy using Jonathan Winters' material. Particularly this entire bit he did from this Disney Halloween special. I don't even know what year that was made, but he plays a security night watchman and a jack-o'-lantern, and they're talking about like what's important about Halloween and all that, but leading up to him beating the jack-o'-lantern, he goes into this prop room and is just joking around with the props. He puts on this Viking helmet, and he does a bit where he's doing like a Swedish accent, playing football or something, and then he does another part where he's awarding a Little League Pee Wee baseball team an award, and as the bit goes on, it turns out the players are the exact same size as the trophy. They're really small, and by the end of his like speech, he ends up stepping on the kid that he's awarding, and um, the whole thing was comedy gold. I killed stealing this bit word for word. I think I did the entire, like, it's probably like a 5 minute sequence that he does in there, 5 to 10 minute sequence, and I stole the whole thing. I just ripped it right off, just ripped it and made it my own, and put it out there, and made everyone laugh. And it was excellent. Really excited. Even the teachers were telling me how funny. And one kid busts me and says, "You got that from that Halloween special." And he said, "You little thief." No, he said, "That was so funny." So, yeah, totally stole from Jonathan Winters. And then, a couple years later, I tried doing a ventriloquist act with a puppet with this little Alf the alien, the Gordon Shumway from the TV series. Years ago, I think it was at Burger King, they were giving these away. Yeah, buy like a combo meal and pay $10 and you get an Alf puppet. And so we all had to share this Alf puppet that had like a chef's hat on it, a mustache, and an apron that said "Kiss the Cook." And it was essentially a glove puppet, but you could stick your fingers in its mouth and kind of manipulate the mouth. And and after a while, just became known to be my puppet because I was the biggest Alf fan in the house. So I cut off the apron and I cut off the hat and I ripped off the mustache and damaged part of the face, which I think I sewed it back together even. To try to do a ventriloquist with this little puppet sitting on my knee, improving an entire routine that wasn't any good. I maybe got like a handful of laughs. Um, Not really that good. I don't even think. I think some people did compliment me on it because it takes guts to do that. I was nervous the whole time, but it was a terrible bit. And so that's kind of the karma for stealing Jonathan Winters and killing, then trying to do something on my own. I totally bit dust, and I learned a valuable lesson. Stay away from ventriloquism. Which even today I don't like. I could try to do ventriloquism. I could work really hard, and then what? There's like two famous ventriloquists in the country, and well, you got Jeff Dunham and Terry Fader, like the two biggest ventriloquists in the country, and both of them received high recognition and all this. But let's face it, if you took the puppets away from them, their material isn't really that good. It's not. The whole thing is based on their ventriloquism. Jeff Dunham has received awards for being best comedian, but he's not funny unless he's using a puppet. And when he tries to do stand-up comedy, I don't think he's that funny. I'll have people on, "You don't think Jeff Dunham's funny? You're a friggin' idiot." And that's what I expect from his fans too. Friggin' idiot. You're a moron. And no, I don't think he's that funny without the puppets. And so then he's relying on a gimmick to be funny. And Terry Fader too. I mean, Terry Fader, I've watched his show. And yes, he's a good ventriloquist. He's also in he does great impressions, and he's a good singer. He could do a whole show without the puppets. And it would still be a Las Vegas review show, a one-man entertainment phenomena. And that's what he has over Jeff Dunham, is he does those excellent impressions of singers. Um, is he particularly funny? I don't think so. Ventriloquism, it lends itself to humor, but it's without the actual gimmick, it's not all that funny. And I guess it's kind of mean to say. I don't find it, like, I find it interesting to watch. Um, but in and of itself, it's not. The best line about ventriloquism is someone who wants the strength of a duo act without paying, but too cheap to have a partner. You want to do an Abbott and Costello routine, but you don't want to have to take on a straight man, and usually you're the straight man, the puppet is the the goofball of the comic, um, which just sets it up right there. Look, there's a reason why Bud Abbott got paid more than Lou Costello during their gigs. Is because no one's gonna love Bud Abbott as much as they're gonna love Lou Costello. And they used to say comics were dime a dozen, but that's the character that the people like. That's the character that people root for is the comic. You know, the schmuck, the schlemiel, the schlemazel, the nebbish, whatever. That's the character that people love, and that's the problem I had. My old clown partner is he was the straight guy for most of our routines, and I was more funny. And he didn't like that. He didn't like not being the funny one. He didn't like being not loved as much as I was. Which is odd for me, because, when I was a kid, I liked Bert over Ernie. I liked Chip over Dale. You know, I did admire, I liked Moe out of the Three Stooges. I liked the straight guy, supposedly. Um, but now it's not like I don't like Chip or Bert anymore, but I also know that I identify with the Ernies and the Dales and the Curlys and Larrys. I don't think I'm quite as good as Curly. Well, probably more in the Larry area as far as humor goes, which is really kind of like, a lot of people that really like understand acting and stuff say, "Oh, you think you're Larry? You're no Larry. You're a second-rate Curly. You second-rate Curly. Larry was a genius. You, sir, are an idiot." And that may be true. Boy, this is what happens when you have a conversation with me, is it goes on tangents. It's one thought from another thought. And so I'm starting off vexy to Jonathan Winters to comedy in general. But Jonathan Winter, brilliant comedian. Check his stuff out. Hilarious bits. Um, improv. Improv. Can you imagine such a, to just go out, and this is a compliment that was, Tristan Remy gave to clowns. The best clown was the one that could walk out into the middle of the circus ring with nothing in his pockets and make humor. Which is the true test. If you can just go out and improv something, and I don't do that particularly with my clown material. When me and Violet used to do our shows at the comedy cafes, um, bare minimum idea of what's going to happen. We know bits by bits. We just had to improv our way through the bit. And that's how it worked. And that's how I work most of the time anyway. I don't have like a set script down. I don't like working that way. I like to be a jazz musician with it, just kind of riff on what I'm doing. There was one of our last performances as the Divine Comedians. I had a friend in the audience, and so I was really hamming it up, trying to impress him. And during the bit, that I wrote a lot of the bit, actually, a lot of the humor, a lot of what is humorous revolves around me and what I create, but I give Violet a lot of credit in creating that bit. With Balloon Doggy Showdown, I started improvising this whole bit after the funeral scene. I'm allowing Violet to sit there and make the balloon gun, and I would go on this whole tangent about the trinkets that God gives us, the balloons and the trumpets and all this, and there's this, 3 minutes of just improv speech of like anger at the higher power that looks down on us and treats us like its puppet, and it was brilliant material and perfectly appropriate. Suddenly we went from being just two clowns on stage to suddenly it's Ionesco or Samuel Beckett or Tom Stoppard or something brilliant like that. Something beyond just two clowns up on the stage in a cafe in a coffee shop. But improving. It's also my key. I was with an agency not too long. I guess I still am with them, but that's what the owner of this agency, management agency for talent agency, knew me as being an improv comic. Like I can improv and I'm funny. So I guess I'll go ahead and yeah, I'm an improv comic. But I hate saying that because then people think, oh, so like whose line is it anyway? No, no, I don't come. Hi, people. I need a topic. I need a no. It's I make up things as I go along, and the scary thing is failing. But I mean, any good material usually comes up in a form of improv. Welcome to a new tangent. Freeplay is a really excellent book that talks about the importance of improvisation. Even like you're improving as you write. So even though you're in a room writing down your stuff, you're improving there. And the beauty of that is you can go back and fix things that you have a problem with, which the beat generation had a problem with that idea. They sit there and say you're free flowing on the page, and to go back and to edit what you said, that's self censorship, and that's like why would you do that to yourself? You put your thoughts on the page and you're just gonna all over them. So that's the beat generation, or beat poets and whatnot, beat writers. William S. Burroughs, Jack Kerouac. When they wrote, they wrote. They didn't edit themselves. They're like, no, this is the pure, real deal. Kind of semi-anti-intellectualism. But oh well, I've rambled and taken up whomever is watching this. I've taken up enough of your time. Feel free to comment, rate, and subscribe if you want. I thank you much for being my friend. He's a good. Um, Other than that, I can always go back, and 10 years from now, if YouTube is still around, YouTube will still be around, but the only people that'll be on it is like, celebrities that are celebrities now, I'm trying to make money on YouTube because I can't make a movie anymore. That's my prediction. 10 years down the line, we're all going to be on YouTube, and then you'll have to go, I want my entertainment raw and real, and there's going to be some other website, loser website, that has not as many subscribers and people are on there. So watch what I can do. Whatever. I hope you pay attention. I hope you had a good time. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye. End communication. Oh, I'm looking like an idiot now.